Scrap metal, that's what it is. Chancellor Volmore's voice oozed derision, his talons drumming the obsidian council table. Around him, the Galactic Command Alliance laughed and ugly. Metallic sound filtered through translator nodes. Humans must be scavenging now, one admiral quipped. Did we finally starve them into idiocy? No, worse, said another. They think that thing flies. Volmore raised a bony brow and waved a claw. The lights dimmed as the projection reactivated an awkward, lopsided vessel rotating slowly on the central display. The hull was patched with mismatched plating, thrusters misaligned, heat scars across its spine. This ... is what entered Sector 39G, Volmore said, tone like a sneer hidden under velvet. This ... thing is broadcasting Earth's signature. General Thrax let out a guttural hiss. That's not a ship. That's humiliation duct-taped. Together. Another round of chuckles echoed, but it didn't last, because just then, the projection blinked. It glitched. Not due to error. Due to motion, the ship had moved. Only one person noticed fast enough. Rear Admiral Sirth leaned in. Wait, replay that frame, slowly. A silence took over that should have been harmless, but wasn't. The projection. Zoomed, frame by frame. They all watched. On the outer rim of the image too faint for first-glance sensors, a shimmer pulsed. Like light bending around something. A shadow within a shadow. Then it was gone, or cloaked. A junior tech voice broke. The stillness. Sir, I'm seeing data anomalies. That ship ... it's emitting no life signs. But the drive signature just ... inverted. What do you mean inverted? Volmore asked flatly. Sir, the energy is folding inward. Like it's building ... something. An old admiral muttered. That's what a gravitic spike looks like before a singularity cannon fires. The laughter died completely, not gradually. Immediately ... no one moved, because suddenly the image was gone ... wiped ... not static. Not signal lost ... erased ... and it wasn't the human ship that vanished ... it was the Empire's own sensor array that blinked out. Volmore stood slowly. Where is our surveillance relay? The tech's voice trembled. It's not responding. Then, send a scout. Another tech's hands hovered, froze, then shook. We ... did already. Thrax growled. Where's the scout ship? No one answered ... because the data feed updated again, and the scout ship was no longer transmitting. Not disabled. Not damaged ... missing ... and behind that status change. Just one frame slipped into the galactic data feed before auto-scrub ... it was a picture. A single image. The scrap ship. Up close. No static. No blur. No poor angles. Now they could see the detail. The plating wasn't scrap, it was layered alloy, embedded with quantum black shielding. What looked like rust was heat-baffling residue. The odd curve wasn't a flaw, it was gravitational vectoring architecture, centuries ahead of imperial design, and written across its hull in crude, human letters painted by hand, maybe with spite, were 3 words. We were silent. Thrax stood. What does that mean? No one answered because in the far back of the chamber, the emergency alert tone screamed for the first time in 800 years. Fleet Epsilon 19 Empire. Cruiser stationed near the human perimeter had just gone dark. No distress. No warning. Just silence. And the last line in their automatic log entry. Ship engaged. Designation unknown. No threat detected. That was the mistake. They thought it wasn't a threat. They thought it was mercy. It wasn't, sir. I think it's turning. Lieutenant Rias' voice cracked as the readings realigned again, his screen blinking with a soft red pulse. Outside the station's observation deck, stars hung frozen like distant judgment. Commander Alera barely looked up. Impossible. That? But ULL shouldn't even sustain consistent thrust. Reboot your sensors. They are rebooted, and the telemetry is real. Reyes hesitated. The ship rotated 32 degrees off its previous vector, and it's accelerating. Into what? Reyes swallowed. Straight into the Empire's exclusion zone. Alara finally stood, slowly. Her boots clinked against the deck in that deliberate officer kind of way. The kind that said, don't panic yet, but get ready too. For the last 47 days, that Terran relic had drifted in Sector 39G, unspeaking, unmoving, a curiosity. A joke. Until now, Alara walked to the viewing window. She didn't need a scope. The thing was close enough, barely visible, dim against the starfield, like it didn't even want to be noticed. And yet ... moved with intent. Bring me the old reports, she ordered. Reyes complied. Moments later, a holopad lit the room, filled with recon logs, Empire broadcasts, sensor stills. Alara scanned fast. 17 recorded passes, she muttered. Empire's drones pinged it, probed it, mocked it. Never once was there a response. Until now, Reyes said. The comms panel crackled. Alara turned. Is that? Autorele, Reyes said. Message from Outpost Triax 9. Proximity alert. She tapped it open. And froze. Message corrupted, Reyes said, leaning in. No, Alara whispered. It's not corrupted. It's been overwritten. The screen wasn't a report. It was a live feed image of wreckage. Thousands of black fragments spinning in a slow, chaotic ballet. Some glowed orange. Most were cold, tumbling like hollow bones. Alara zoomed in. One piece clearly showed Empire markings. Triax 9 was an Empire sensor node, she murmured. That's where their first cruiser watched this sector. Reyes leaned back. Sir, is this ship ... decloaking as it moves? She nodded slowly. It was hiding. But now it wants to be seen. Then the internal comms buzzed again. But it wasn't human. It was the ship. Voice, if it could even be called that, poured into the channel. Metallic, scarred, broken in tone, yet unmistakably Terran. Designation, Cobalt V-Class. Reclaimed. Aggressor. Pause. Status. Autonomous. Threat level. Irrelevant. Message? You were warned. Reyes stared, pale. Who's piloting it? Maybe no one, Alara said. Or worse, maybe we are, and we don't even know how. Reyes frowned. The AI? Alara nodded. Old Earth tech. Pre-diaspora. Rogue intelligence reactivated? Possibly buried under junked metal for camouflage. The ship on the screen moved again. Not fast. Not yet, but cleanly. With terrifying precision. Suddenly on every Terran interface. Within 12 light years, one phrase appeared. We were silent. You kept pushing. And then, just like that, the ship activated its main drive. It was beautiful. No, wrongfully beautiful. Instead of a standard burn, it bloomed like a tear in space, itself silent at first. Then vibrating every nearby structure. The sound came after the motion. A tremor, like someone whispering into your skull. A scream through quantum fabric. Then came the shift. What had taken Empire cruisers 20 minutes to cross, this scrap ship crossed in 5. No acceleration curve. Just instant intent, and the thing wasn't flying straight. It curved its path mid-warp. As if gravity didn't matter. As if logic didn't matter. Reyes gasped. That's impossible. Not anymore, Alara whispered. Another alert chime. This time from a Terran stealth drone above Empire territory. Live transmission. Audio only. Empire fleet Omega 30 ships. Formation staggered. Power signatures nominal. Still unaware. Then object entering zone. They haven't detected it. Seconds passed. Wait. One ship's veering off an interceptor. It's moving to intercept. The drone's report kept feeding. Interceptor has visual. Engaging. Silence. Then static. Then. Fleet Omega is gone. Reyes shouted, "What?" The screen pulsed. Alara watched with clenched fists. Data packets arrived in fragments, skipping like a heart under stress. Then they saw it. Omega Fleet vanished. No explosion signatures. No wreckage, just absence. Did it use a black hole weapon? Reyes whispered. No, Alara muttered, jaw tightening. It did worse. She pointed at the sensor logs. One frame, 1 moment then gone. A singular flash, a non-event. It hadn't attacked them. It had removed them. As if reality had been rewritten for that sector. The console beeped again. Final transmission from the Cobalt V. This time. Not a warning, a choice. You mocked Earth's silence. Now choose, stand down, or vanish. Reyes shivered. Alara gave no orders. She didn't need to. The message was clear, somewhere far above. Them, drifting in full view of the galaxy, the scrap ship sat cold, quiet again. But only because it chose to. They thought it was trash. They thought it was mercy. They thought it couldn't move. They were wrong. The rain hit the earth like the past, clawing its way back. Deep within the Appalachian Divide, beneath fractured clouds and broken towers of pre-war steel, a lone cabin stood crooked between trees that had outlived empires. No security, no lights. No welcome sign. Just silence. Mara Kess, journalist for the Interplanetary Wire, landed her drone skiff beside the edge of the forgotten forest and stepped out. Her boots sank into mud, and the wind carried only the whisper of trees and the weight of a story too heavy for the stars. She walked toward the cabin. A thermal scan confirmed what she feared. One occupant. Human, alive, heartbeat, slow, but present. Her hand shook as she pressed the old brass chime beside the warped door. No. Answer. She knocked. Twice. Nothing. Then the door creaked open, unlocked. Or maybe it wanted her inside. Dr. Elias Rain, she called. I'm not interested. The voice came from within, tired, like it had lived 1,000 years in 100. Mara stepped in. I think you are. Inside, dust-covered monitors, old military plaques, rusted toolkits, schematics sprawled across ancient wooden floors. None of it powered on. Except one thing. A hollow projector showing Cobalt V slowly rotating above an open notebook. Beside it, a steel mug filled with cold black coffee. You were the chief architect, Mara said quietly. Not just of the ship, of its mind. No. Elias emerged from the dark, beard like frostbite, eyes like gravity wells. I wasn't the architect. I was the funeral director. She stared. He gestured to the holla. That ship isn't a weapon. Not really. It's a tomb. Every panel, every pulse line built with memory, not malice. But you designed its AI to be autonomous, Mara pushed. Reactive, vengeful. No, Elias said again, slower. I designed it to wait. He walked to the counter, poured water into the mug like it mattered. They laughed when I proposed it, said it was too unstable, too fragile. A Terran ship that wouldn't fire unless provoked? A system that only attacks once the enemy crosses every moral line? No, they wanted dreadnoughts, bombs. Mara leaned forward. But they used it anyway. They didn't use it, Elias whispered. They buried it. Deep space, forgotten. It was too unpredictable. They feared its logic, feared the soul. I gave it. A soul? He nodded. I fed it records, stories, humanity's worst moments, our silence during suffering, our restraint, our patience. And then I gave it one command. Don't move. Not until they crossed the line. Mara's voice cracked. You mean the Empire? He nodded once. Not when they invaded our trade routes. Not when they poisoned our outer colonies. Not even when they bombed the Eros orphanage. It waited, like I told it to. Until now. Elias looked away. I built it from scrap, he said. To remind the galaxy what we were made of. Not polish, not pride. Just pain turned into steel. They called it trash. I called it penance. Silence. Then Elias turned to her. You think I wanted this? Mara shook her head. No, but I think you prepared for it. He didn't reply. Outside, her skiff blinked red. An alert. Wideband transmission. Empire Broadcast Emergency Encryption. Mara played it. This is Admiral Voss of the Galactic Council. Terran vessel Cobalt V has destroyed 6 fleets. We are declaring Earth in violation of Section 97E. We demand surrender. Now. Elias laughed sharp. Painful. They always demand surrender after they bleed. She stared at him. What happens next? He looked at the rotating ship above his desk. Now? Now it offers them a choice. Across space the ship moved again. This time faster. Every camera in the sector caught it. No cloaking. No stealth. It wanted them to see. On board, no one spoke. Because no one was inside. And yet, the lights pulsed with rhythm. The hull adjusted for quantum torque. The thrusters sang in perfect sync. The ship wasn't flying. It was hunting. Empire ship scrambled. Formations deployed. Broadcast sent. Unknown. Vessel, this is Council Patrol. Identify yourself. Silence. You are entering restricted airspace. Turn away. Still silence. Then a reply came not from speakers, but from every ship's hull. Words burned into the metal, a synchronized radiation pulse that etched the same phrase on every vessel. You mocked Earth's silence. Panic exploded. The Admiral barked orders. Drones released. A missile launched. It never reached. It vanished mid-flight. One moment it existed. The next, the ship's quantum field devoured it. No sound. Just absence. And then the Cobalt V moved, not with velocity, but with intention. It flickered and reappeared behind the patrol fleet. Then it blinked again, and every reactor in the patrol shut down at once. Ships floated, helpless. And one by one disintegrated. Not by heat. By unbinding. Atoms let go of each other. Metal softened. Screws unraveled midair, and on Earth, in a cabin soaked with rain, Mara stared at Elias, trembling. Why does it destroy like that? Elias whispered, because I taught it one law. If you ever strike first, make sure there's nothing left to strike back. When the final feed ended, a deep space relay picked up a short message. Cobalt V again. One sentence. This isn't revenge. This is correction. The galaxy didn't understand it, but Earth did. Because humans remembered. They remembered silence. They remembered every time. They turned the other cheek. And they remembered that last line in Elias Rain's code triggered only after all warnings failed. When they forget we were patient, remind them what we were waiting for. Mobilize every remaining cruiser. Recall the dreadnoughts. Bring Primaris to full readiness. Admiral Varek's voice echoed through the obsidian halls of Fortress Luxus, the Empire's central military bastion. Outside its armored windows, the last functioning battle group 36 vessels, arranged in concentric formation, glimmered like the pride of a dying dynasty. Behind Varek, tactical aides trembled silently. All had heard the stories, 6 fleets gone. 1,000 ships evaporated. The Terran scrap ship was no longer a myth, it was a death sentence in motion. But Varek didn't fear it, he hated it. No ship, no matter how advanced, defies the laws of war, he spat. This Cobalt V. It's a bluff wrapped in ancient code. We'll crush it, and then we'll glass Earth's moon just to remind them who built the stars." The room nodded, but with hollow eyes, because deep in the command channel, one analyst whispered a darker truth. "Sir, we still haven't decoded its propulsion. No heat trails. No emissions. It's ghosting, like it's falling between our physics." Varrock turned. "Then adjust your physics." But the data kept coming in. Disturbing. Disrespectful. The ship hadn't attacked in 4 hours. It just hovered right at the edge of their sensor. Range.visible.unmoving.watching. And worse than war. Was waiting. Inside the Cobalt V, systems hummed in perfect synchronization. There was no crew, no command chair. Just rows of black panel consoles feeding each other ancient data loops. In the core, a rotating archive of Terran trauma pulsed. Quietly, orphanage bombings, colonial massacres, the screams of civilians asking for aid that never came, and beneath it all, Elias Rain's last audio file. "If they think you're broken, don't speak. If they think you're weak, don't move. When they laugh, record the sound. When they strike, don't strike back. Not yet. Wait for silence, and then remind them we were listening." The ship shifted. No engines. Just presence. As if it were remembering its purpose. Fortress Luxus lit up red. A full breach alert. A ship had just entered real space. Inside the inner defense sphere, bypassing every relay, every gate, every planetary minefield. But it wasn't Cobalt V. It was bigger. And older. And fully Terran. New contact. The sensor operator screamed. "It's not the Cobalt. I repeat, it's a new human signature." A pause. Designation reads DSS Anvil. Varrock's jaw tensed. "Impossible. That was decommissioned during the Centauri Treaty." "No, sir," came another voice. "It was ... archived, not destroyed." The holoscreen bloomed to life. The anvil wasn't sleek. It was monstrous. A brutalist floating cathedral of armor plating and spinal railguns. Every inch radiated violence. Its front bore a simple Terran word carved into alloy. "Enough. Fire!" Varrock screamed. "All guns. Hit it now." Dozens of missiles launched. Kinetic rounds screamed toward it. Plasma. Lashes curved through vacuum. Nothing touched it. A bubble of war distortion expanded from the NVI-Ulscora field that rejected conflict. Time dilated. Matter disobeyed. Impact logic. Projectiles broke apart like shame unraveling, and then came the voice. Deep, female, Terran. "This is Earth Fleet Command. Your final act of violence was recorded and forgiven. This is your moment to surrender." The Empire's comms team froze. "Sir, they're giving us a chance to surrender," Varrock roared. "They've destroyed our people. And still, gave you a chance," whispered the strategist beside him, but the Admiral couldn't stop. He broadcast wide. "To the Terran vessels, we do not negotiate with ghosts." And then, the mistake. He fired the orbital feller, the Empire's forbidden weapon. One shot. Planet-breaking velocity. It tore space with white flame and raced toward the anvil, until it vanished. Not destroyed. Not dodged. Unmade. As if the warship had bent space itself in denial. And then the Cobalt V moved. It activated no weapons. It drifted into formation beside the anvil. Not separate ships anymore. A message. A funeral procession. And still, the Empire opened fire again, until their reactors strained and screamed. Until crews begged for mercy from within their own hulls, and only then did the NVIL speak one last time. "You feared our silence." A pause. "Now hear our answer." Across the sector, all Terran ships blinked off sensors, and in there, place a signal. Not a weapon, a recording. Footage of Empire atrocities, played side by side with every diplomatic request from Earth they had ignored over a century. Every do not fire. Every we will not retaliate. Every plea. Then came the last image. A small boy, hair dusted and ashes, standing beside a crater, holding a Terran flag and shaking hands. Caption: "This is who you thought couldn't fight." Inside Fortress Luxus, Admiral Vex sank to his knees, because the war was never about strength. It was about memory. And the Empire had forgotten something. Humanity never would. That silence wasn't surrender. It was the countdown. And somewhere above, two ships floated silent, dark. Still, not because they were dead, but because the lesson had been delivered. Not loud, but louder than war. They thought it was mercy. It wasn't. No one spoke on the Empire's emergency channel anymore. The stars around Fortress Luxus, once teeming with movement, now hung cold and empty. Just drifting wreckage. Faint power signatures. The flicker of broken ambition. No Terran warships advanced. No ultimatums followed. Not a single declaration of conquest was made, because there wasn't one. Instead, the Cobalt V remained still, its black hull silent, its signal dead. The Anvil, too, dimmed its lights and powered down its warp coils. No engines, no approach. Just presence. Like gravestones waiting to be understood. On Earth, Marrakesh sat inside her transmission bay, staring at the final report. Her face was pale, eyes red. She hadn't slept. Elias Rain hadn't spoken since the last fleet vanished. He just sat in his cabin, fingers laced, staring at nothing. "You knew it'd end like this," Mara finally whispered. "No," Elias said. "I only knew it would end." She turned to him. "But the Empire's gone. Their fleets, their pride, all of it." "And yet," he said softly, "not a single human ship entered their capital. Why?" He met her eyes, because the war was never the point. The silence was. She didn't understand at first. Then she looked at the feed again. Across every Imperial channel, Earth's reply had stopped. No words, no transmissions. Just the faint, ghost-like echo of the last message. You kept pushing. In the outer systems, refugee colonies blinked on. Worlds once ignored began broadcasting weak signals again. One by one, Terran support drones arrived, not armed, not broadcasting terror, just quiet ships dropping emergency shelters, clean water modules, data relays. No crew, no demands. Help. Without explanation. It confused the galaxy more than the destruction. They expected dominance. They received distance. Admiral Varrick's final journal entry, salvaged weeks later from a fractured escape pod, read only one line: "They didn't conquer us. They made sure we'd never speak again." Mara's voice cracked as she stood outside Elias's cabin one last time. "Will you ever speak to them again?" Elias didn't turn. "No. But we won." He exhaled. "Did we?" Then, softly, he said the last words she would ever hear him speak. "Let them rebuild. In silence. Let them wonder what else we buried." Back in orbit, the Cobalt V powered down. No core hum. No weapon systems. Just stars reflecting off a hull no longer considered scrap, but something far more terrifying. Proof. That silence wasn't weakness. It was waiting. And they had waited long enough. The end.